All right, I guess I'll talk in this one. This is red oak, pretty big tree. Been down a year, so the sapwood's all turning crummy, but heartwood's solid, still pretty wet. Red oak is one of those woods that splits super good no matter how big it is, if you do it the right way. Most of the usual principles apply. These big logs, we had to split them with wedges or an axe before we could load them all by hand. But with oak, it's kind of a right angle thing, either right with the parallel with the bark or the grain this way, or at a right angle with it that way if you go at it any cattywampus kind of random way. It doesn't split as easy. And oak is one of those trees that, one of those woods that if you lay down the piece, like a round piece, and try to split it along the side, it doesn't split as good. But from the end grain, it splits great. You'll notice too, I'm kind of leisurely swinging. Kind of how I usually split wood. I don't like the tire or any of that other gimmicky stuff. More things I got to keep up with. I'd rather just use wood from the tree I cut down if possible. If not, I keep a couple of rounds out here. But I don't swing like I'm trying to kill it. It doesn't require that kind of force, and then you gotta go pick it up, or the axe is more dangerous when it's going fast. So it just doesn't make sense to do it that way unless you really have to. I try to avoid splitting wood like that. Speaking of wedges, there's one from yesterday. Couldn't get it out there. We'll get it out here though. See what I'm doing. There's a saw cut there. Knock that out. Also, I don't know if you can hear me very well. I usually don't talk too much, or I haven't talked much, but so I'm not one to edit or add music, or all business kind of a deal. But in a leisurely sort of way, this is my gym, my exercise, deep thought, all that kind of stuff. And I heat with wood, and I sell some, and I cook with some, make a little charcoal, that kind of stuff. Just something to keep the body active and slow the mind down. If that makes sense. Now I've got a crummy axe over here somewhere that I could use and be a little bit safer than this good one here. Probably ought to, but we'll see. So far, so good. Wedge. It's all black and gross from the juice in the tree. Tannins. It's all yucky. I got a number of axes that I've used in some of the videos. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I've got a decent collection, and get different ones out from time to time and go through them. This is Gransters Brook splitting maul. I've had it for a few years. It's a really good tool. I really enjoy it. It's good balance. Everybody that uses it really likes it. But it's not the only one, and as I've proven before, if you forget it and then it rains for 2 days, the handle gets ruined. So sometimes you need a cheap one. I got one of those too. That you can just leave out in the wood lot or back the truck or trailer. Think about turning some of this oak into charcoal. I used to do that every once in a while. I haven't for a while, but it's kind of green still. Oak, red oak will keep moisture in the log for multiple years, enough to where it still takes usual seasoning time before it's ready to burn. Another thing, if you don't swing super hard, it just kind of half splits, and then you can, kind of take these cross-section shots after you hit it once. This comes apart into multiple little easy pieces. All wood does this for the most part, except elm. Anyway, the charcoal bit, I was thinking about making some charcoal with this because it's the way we had to cut it, kind of short rounds. So I wanted to get some split. It's supposed to be pretty hot next week. A week or two in the sun, or maybe even just a couple of months will get it ready for a little charcoal experiment. Yeah, these rounds are intimidating looking, but they're actually pretty easy to split once you get them where they're going. That's the hard part. But with one wedge, you can take a round. These are about 3.5, 4 feet apart at the big end, maybe 3 feet at the small end, and 1 or 2 wedges, or a wedge, a sledge, and an axe, and you can break it down into manhandle size pieces, which is what we did. Had a couple of pals helping me. So back to the axes. Like I said, I got a pretty good collection. I've been kind of collecting for the last few years. I spent some time working with the manufacturer, a maker, I guess, small operation, part-time, helping them out some, and talk about that another time. But I will use a few as I go through these videos. Are they still videos? I guess so. And I will tell you what I think. I cut a lot of wood, so I kind of know. I'm definitely very self-taught, but I do definitely know what I like in an axe or a maul and what I don't. And I'll say that with, for the most part, a few exceptions, if it doesn't have a fiberglass handle, it's got a wooden handle, it's gonna be okay. I've got a couple of fiberglass ones and they're fine, but you can feel the difference when you're using, and most importantly, after you've used a bad axe much more than you can versus a good one. Well, the after part at least. It was really hot yesterday when we cut this up. It was like 95, no shade, and the saws wouldn't stay running after we got them heated up because the gas was crummy. So we really didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but got enough to split on. So I'm trying to work some of that soreness out. Pretty stiff today. And if I do a little bit each day, it's better than a lot every weekend. It'd be worthless. Of course, I slept good last night. There are ways you can go about your setup too. There's lots of videos about this out there too, but everybody always leaves something important out. Some folks don't like mauls because they like axes, because they're lighter, swing them all day. Defined term, all day. Some people don't use chopping blocks. Some people just use big, huge mauls. Anyway, I'm gonna share with whoever watches my approach. So I split 1, 2, 3, a few whacks across here, and now I'm gonna knock the ends off of all of them. They'll come for the most part. Also, you can use the axe to twist the wood apart. That's kind of a know what your tool can do thing. If you get it in there stuck and it won't move and you try to twist it, you may hurt your axe. But if the piece is already split, like that piece, it's split, you maybe can wiggle it around without hurting the handle. If it's held fast, then you don't want to do it. So I like having something to split on. 2 reasons. One, I don't need a bunch of power. If you're having to swing hard, I don't know, you got an issue. And it raises it up. I really think I got more juice here than I do down here, because down here I'm really worried about my feet, or I'm bent way down. And also it stops your force. You know, if you're slapping it against that big piece, then it's not gonna bounce as it would on the ground, especially soft ground or soft ground in the woods. And it protects the edge. This one's a little dinged up, but I keep it sharp because every once in a while the wood will have some stringiness to it. A sharp maul or axe is much better for that than a big dumb dull one. You know, this red oak, even with the size. Pretty easy. And I think I said this, but you just don't got to swing hard, so you're not going to lose anything. I'm not swinging hard at all. I'm being accurate for the most part. Accuracy is much more important. Control is much more important than brute force and strength. That being said, when you're slapping the hammer on the wedge, you want to give it some juice then. See, there's this knotty area right here, so that's why those aren't all clean, but I don't really want them to be clean yet because it's holding it all together, holding it upright. Now I can pop them off because the grain's straight over there on this side. Straighter. Turn it over now. Kind of a messy spot. Oh, 2-inch knot. Surprise. This is, or was, a northern red oak. Big tree around here. It wasn't that old. I think it was like 70 years old. Which means it was planted in the yard it came out of. Here's a really dry bit. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even when it's dry, it splits good. Smells good too. Fresh red oak stinks. Well, it doesn't stink, it's just got a very strong flavor, strong smell. This has almost got like a peach smell to it. It's quite pleasant. All right, I'll do one more and save the rest for tomorrow. I don't know if there's interest, but I've been thinking about doing a wood splitting series. Like I said, this is kind of my gym, and so I'm passionate about it. Very, very simple skill to learn and master. But you've got a farm or some land and you want to heat with some wood, be cleaner or whatever. It's pretty good to learn how to do. You can get hurt, you can wear yourself out if you don't. I'm definitely the hard way kind of guy sometimes, though. You know, learn by trial and error. But I'm about to put a little, what I would call it, clinic on with this piece. It looks like it's going to be a pretty sweet one to split. If I can be accurate. Once you get oak split off the round, it's easy. If this was a full round, I'd be doing it a little different. But clean this up now. right, same procedure. It's gonna be over here for a minute. I'm just gonna knock the chunks off the outside. It's already split down the radius. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Still standing, still on the block, no bending over, no friggin' chains, no tires. Kind of messy though, because I kicked them all out there, hitting them too hard. But yeah, if you got an axe that you want me to do a review on, I might do some of those. Or a brand, I've got Gransfors Brooks, I've got a Holtz Brooks, I've got a Fiskars, I've got a Northman axe or two laying around here, old John Neiman, Tuatahi from New Zealand, which I think I've got a video or two out me using that. You get down to this part, you know, you're kind of near the middle, so take what you can get. Which in this case won't be a struggle. I also split wood based on, you know, the type it is, meaning if I know it's a long, slow burner, like I might do 3/4 of the truckload and, you know, firewood pieces about like this, a trailer load, and then do that last quarter in bigger pieces, just for some all-nighters. And then if it's a fast burner, or a faster burner, like something that doesn't coal so good, like hackberry or ash, and even oak sometimes. Red oak's a good example, one that it's always good to have smaller stuff, like those kinds of pieces. So there you go. I'm talking, or I talk. If you want me to do, I guess, a comment, kind of new to the YouTubes as well, but if you do want some axe content, I'm happy to share my thoughts and show you what I think of these tools and how they work. Like I said, I know there's a lot of this out there already, but it's not a lot of good. Even some of the guys who make a living on YouTube and do this stuff as part of their routine. I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything, but I just see stuff that's should be polished a little bit, made better, clear information, or just better method. That's what YouTube's all about, though, right? Anybody can say what they want about the subject. All right, I got these 3 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big rounds to do tomorrow. Maybe next 2 days, spread it out. All right, thanks for watching.